Hello everyone, today I will tell you about the film War of the Worlds 2: The Next Wave. Enjoy watching. Before watching, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. I'm trying to develop this channel and your support is the only thing I have. The film begins with a space panorama. The camera approaches a lonely red planet. Suddenly, many rockets are launched from Mars and approach the Earth. The action moves to an ordinary forest. In the middle of the night, three friends are riding bicycles through it. They track the destination point where a meteorite supposedly fell using a navigator. During the search, Herbert notices something strange in the bushes. Leaving his friends, he goes to look. In the forest thicket, he finds nothing, after which he is frightened by his comrades who have crept up. The group resumes the search for the space stone, but is interrupted by a video recording of Herbert's next revelation. He assumes that Martians exist and can organize an invasion. When the navigator's battery dies, the comrades decide to spend the night at Herbert's nearby. But as soon as they leave, a strange creature with tentacles appears in the night, glowing green. In the morning, a girl named Hannah films Herbert playing a prank on a sleeping Ogilvy. Herbert's mother asks him to visit his relatives, but the young man does not want to communicate with them. Hannah consoles her friend, who is upset by a quarrel with his mother, after which the guests go downstairs. While eating pancakes, they learn that the news reported a meteorite that fell nearby. The excited astronomers jump on their bicycles and rush to the scene. There are already many people there. They have surrounded a huge, strangely shaped stone. Hannah suggests going around the crash site and sneaking up on the meteorite from behind, so that the police do not throw them out. The students go down to the lowland where the space guest is lying. Not afraid of radiation, they reach out to him until Ogilvy burns his hand. Having filmed the meteorite, the friends realize that it is not a stone. Confirming their guess, the extraterrestrial boulder opens up. An alien in the form of a mutant octopus is hiding inside. Hannah suggests running away, but Herbert stares at the alien in fascination until the doors close back. As they leave, the students are caught by a policeman. The cop leaves the youth to wait for Dr. Stint, their scientific advisor from the institute. The teacher is not at all surprised that the students are already here. They are always nearby when something falls from space. Herbert expresses concern. It seemed to him that the meteorite crew was unfriendly. Suddenly, the space device opens up. Something huge on three long legs and tentacles emerges from it. It shoots a fiery beam, burning the people running away in panic. The hidden students film this on camera as it passes by, not noticing them. The astronomers ride their bicycles into town. They notice a trail of black smoke in the sky from another capsule approaching for landing. At home, the students see fighter jets heading towards the alien guests. A man is shown on TV declaring that the stones from the sky are God's punishment for human sins. Then Dr. Stint and the military explain that there is no need to try to establish contact with the aliens. This will be done by specially trained people. Trying to contact their relatives, the students find out that the connection is not working. Herbert suggests that the invaders have arrived from Mars. In this situation, the guys decide to stay home and have tea. A few hours later, Hannah notices someone hiding in the garden. They send Ogilvy to check. The creature in the bushes turns out to be British soldier Ben. He is looking for shelter, and Herbert lets him in. The soldier says that the invaders have completely defeated the army. After drinking whiskey, Ben washes himself and explains that he survived only by a miracle. He fell, tripping when the aliens were shooting an energy beam. The youth wonder if the military will take control of the situation, but Ben recommends leaving as far away as possible. Herbert wants to find his mother, suggesting using regular radios for communication. Through them, the artilleryman contacts his superiors, who also recommend leaving. The aliens continue to land. Having collected food supplies, the students and soldiers set off on bicycles. Noticing fighters in the sky, Ben contacts the bunker to find out the situation. Everything is very bad. The combat tripod is already within the city limits, burning out the army with a beam. On the way, they stumble upon a military patrol. They report that civilians are being evacuated and that the students should not personally search for relatives. The students and Ben arrive at the evacuation base, where a queue of survivors has formed. During the census, it turns out that Herbert's last name is Wells, which makes him guilty of what is happening. Ben, using his connections, helps to get a boat out of turn. On board, the students see a flock of birds rising above the forest. An alien appears next and begins to destroy everything around. The military manages to shoot down the enemy, but the joy of victory turns out to be premature. Another whole pack of alien equipment is approaching. People flee right from the battlefield. The Martians burn out tanks and helicopters, not allowing them to fight back. During the escape, Hannah falls and loses consciousness. Her friends carry her to a safe place in the forest. The girl comes to after dark, after which they return to the boat. The guys row towards London. Along the way, they see burning cities on the horizon. The exhausted astronomers land on the shore to find shelter. In the forest, they come across a strange man from the report. It is a priest. He is very pessimistic and calls the invasion the end of the world, God's punishment from which all people will die. The Reverend reads a sermon, causing irritation. Herbert asks for directions. The students leave, but the strange man, refusing to admit that he's crazy, follows, promising salvation to everyone. Soon they come to a house, inside which they find abandoned supplies. The owner was clearly in a hurry to leave this place. While dividing the supplies, Ogilvy quarrels with the priest and insults him, forcing him to grab a knife. Herbert lunges at him to disarm him, but the priest strikes him. Holding a knife to the youth's throat, the man speaks aloud what to do, then releases the student. Ogilvy suggests leaving, but the priest insists that he stay. Their fate is not yet decided. The assembled group sit awkwardly in silence at the table while the mad preacher lights a candle. He offers Hanny bread, calling her the weaker sex and hinting at the repopulation of the planet. He cannot trust such an important matter to the lower seed. As the second bottle of wine is finishing, Herbert asks what prompted him to abandon his Christian principles. In response, he admits that he is now closer to God than ever. Retiring to bed, the priest asks the youth not to disturb him, otherwise he will cut them. The night passes in anxious anticipation. Herbert gets up to drink some water, not taking his eyes off the man sleeping on the couch. He approaches him cautiously and reaches for the knife. But a sudden noise outside distracts their attention. The students see an alien in the window. He passes by, but the danger is not past. The awakened preacher threatens him with a knife. The student asks him to calm down and move away from the window, but he does not listen. The sermon is interrupted by the appearance of a black tentacle in the window. The aliens grab the priest and drag them home. The tentacles return to the house for the rest of the loot, but the students hide, trembling with horror. Having found no one, the tentacle retreats. In the morning, Ben calls his friends on the radio. They exchange coordinates, after which the young people set off. Wandering through the deserted streets, they assume that in this way the aliens change the planet to suit their needs. Having got out into the forest, the astronomers notice a signal on the hill. Its source turns out to be Ben. He is glad to see them and leads his friends to his new camp. Ben says that the alien landing continues. Human troops suffer one defeat after another. The army officials propose a plan to go underground and live there. Herbert does not like this arrangement. He wants to fight back the invaders. To convince the young men, Ben contacts his colleagues. They report on the grave situation throughout the country. The students wait in the forest. Ogilvy plays with grenades. Hannah encourages the upset Herbert. Under the pressure of circumstances, he comes up with a plan. Find out why the aliens are abducting people. Herbert leads them to the nearest landing point. There, the aliens wander the streets of London, burning everything around them. People sneak along the deserted streets, hiding from the invaders' mechanisms behind monuments. The guerrilla squad makes its way further until they come across one of the landing craft, the ones they mistook for meteorites. Herbert and Hannah decide to get closer to see what's inside. The pair sneak under the cover of the forest. They watch as the tripods unload something into the craft, which is surrounded by strange eggs. Apparently the aliens are nesting. As Hannah reports what she saw to Ben, the aliens kidnap Ogilvy. A soldier rushes to help and opens fire on the alien with a pistol. The mechanism turns around and pulls a tentacle towards him. The captured soldier takes out a grenade and pulls out the pin. The explosion tears the turret apart. Having lost control, the tentacle drops Ogilvy, who is found by his friends. The three of them run away. They are pursued by another mechanism, shooting a beam of fire after them. They hide under a bridge, after which Hannah suggests hiding in the sewers. In the dungeon, the friends argue about how long they will have to hide. Ogilvy does not want to rot in the sewers, which leads to a short-lived quarrel, which Hannah stops. Waiting out the night, the students wonder how much the world will have changed by the time they get out. However, in the morning, not a sound comes from above. The students climb out of the sewers and look around anxiously. There are no aliens patrolling the area. The astronomers find a bush of mysterious red grass. Nearby, on the ground, a small mutant octopus lies motionless, like the one inside the meteorite. The friends throw stones at it before getting closer, and they notice a lying mechanism from which the alien crawled out before dying. Suddenly, Dr. Stin appears, accompanied by the military. She explains that the aliens died from Earth viruses and bacteria, for which the Martian immune system was not prepared. Herbert is called on the radio. The military has saved his mother and is preparing to send her home. The joyful friends get into the car and drive away. The voiceover tells about the microbes that defeated the invading army and their future offspring and eggs. But suddenly, tentacles break out of one of the eggs, and this is where the film ends.